former host of this open mic for many years ago. And now he delights us virtually every week with a little bit of everything, and always entertaining and always different. So please welcome Ski!
So I do lots of things when I come here on stage. Sometimes I sing Irish music, sometimes I rant about things. Once or twice I do poetry, and a couple times I've rubbed cheeseburger on my chest. But I was talking with some of the comedians who were in the back earlier, and I got to thinking how many jokes I actually know. Now some people collect useless bits of trivia, and like kick your ass at Trivial Pursuit. I can't remember shit. My memory goes about 5 minutes in the past. But I have a really disturbingly good memory for songs and for jokes. Now there's a lot of easy jokes, little throwaway jokes. Like, did you hear about the blonde who went into church? She heard there was a guy hung like this. I mean, there's all kinds of jokes you can just toss out, but they don't have any meaning. But the jokes I really like are the ones that actually have almost a little message hidden inside them. For example, there was a friend of mine when I was in the Army, and we would go out, and I was a designated driver because I'm a total useless Polak. I can't drink for shit. And so I'd be his designated driver, and we'd be out there. And invariably, at some point in the night, after a certain number of beers, he'd look over and he'd go, "That guy over there keeps fucking looking at me." I'm like, he's not looking at you. He hasn't noticed you. He doesn't give a fuck about you. Leave him alone. And he'd get his ass tossed out of the bar, bloody-nosed and broken at some point in the evening. So there's this joke. This guy goes out hunting, gets himself a nice new rifle, says, "I'm going to go out and hunt a little brown bear." So he goes out and he tracks down a brown bear, aims, pow, shoots a little brown bear, and just tap on his shoulder. He turns around, and there's a black bear. And the black bear says, "That was my friend you just shot. I'm kind of mad about that. But I'm a reasonable bear, so I'm going to give you an option. Either I just fucking rip your head off right now, be done with it, or I fuck you up the ass, but you'll survive." The guy's like, "Well, shit. Well, I don't want to die." So the bear mauls him, just fucking claws him up, beats him up, rips his pants off, and fucks him in the ass. And the guy crawls back to his car and calls the ambulance, and he makes it back. And for the next month, he's in the hospital. And the whole time he's in the hospital, he's thinking to himself, "I'm going to get me that black bear." So as soon as he gets better, goes and buys himself a new rifle, goes out there, tracks down that black bear, aims, pow, shoots him. Tap on his shoulder, he turns around, there's a grizzly bear. And the grizzly bear says, "That was a friend of mine you just killed. Now, I'm a reasonable bear, so I'm going to give you an option. Either I just fucking rip your head off right now, or I fuck you up really bad, maul you a whole bunch, but you'll get out alive." "Oh, I'm going to fuck you in the ass." The guy's like, well, I don't want to die. So the bear fucking just rips him up, blood and guts all over the place, skin flayed off, rips his pants off, fucks him. The guy has to call from where he is. He can't even crawl back to the truck. He spends 2 months in the hospital, and the whole time he's in the hospital, he's thinking to himself, "I'm going to get me that bear." So as soon as he gets better, he goes himself, buys a new rifle, goes out, he tracks down that grizzly bear, bam, shoots him. There's a tap on his shoulder. He turns around, there's a polar bear. And the polar bear says, "You don't come out here for the hunting, do you?" So there's some jokes that they feel like they have more meaning. Because I've gone around in life, and when I see somebody doing something like, "You don't come here for the hunting," and they're like, "What?" I'm like, it just fits your situation. There's a couple jokes, and some of them give you things like that. Others just kind of tell you that sometimes it's not so much the things you say as much as the things you don't say. Which is like this joke. There was a guy that was in Las Vegas, and he thought he had all the luck with him. So he's out and he's gambling, he's winning lots of money, but of course it all turns sour. And by the time he leaves that casino, like 1 a.m. in the morning, to catch his 2 a.m. flight, he hasn't had anything. Not a single cent. And he goes to the one taxi that is still sitting in front of this rundown casino, and he's like, "You got to take me to the airport. I've got my ticket. That's it. I will give you this Rolex. It's a good Rolex." And the taxi driver's like, "I'm not giving you a free ride. Either you got the money or you don't." And the guy's like, I will write an IOU. I will give you my shoes. I got to get to the airport." The guy's like, "You don't got the money? Fuck off." And he drives off. Well, the guy manages to hitchhike to the airport, catch his plane, and 2 years later, he comes back. And he goes to the same casino, and once again he plays, but this time luck is a little bit better with him. He comes out, and he's feeling pretty good about himself. And while he's standing there in line, ready to go back to the airport, he notices that taxi driver's right down there, about the 8th car in line at the taxi waiting line. So he goes to the first taxi and he leans in. He's like, "How much to the airport?" He goes, $20. He goes, "How much for a ride and a hand job on the way?" Taxi driver's like, "Get the fuck out of my cab!" Goes to the next cab. "How much to the airport?" $20, same as the other guy. "How much for a ride to the airport and a hand job?" "What? Get the fuck out of my cab!" And he does this cab after cab after cab after cab until he gets to the 8th cab. And he's like, "How much for a ride to the airport?" $20, same as everybody else. "Why?" "Nothing, I'll take a ride." He gets in the taxi, and as they're driving by the other taxis, he's going... So sometimes it's not so much what you say. So there's one more for you. Another joke that I think sometimes captures part of being human. There's a monk joins an order, and part of this order's vows is they can only say one thing every 3 years. So the guy joins the monastery, and for 3 years, he's a perfect monk, does exactly what he's supposed to do every morning, does his prayers, does his work. And at the end of 3 years, the head abbot calls him up to his office and says, "You get to say one thing. What is on your mind?" And the guy says, "The beds are hard." The head monk goes, well, that is a complaint. No problem. I will look into it. And over the next few months, they fix things, make better pillows. The monks work on fixing things. And 3 years go by. And the head abbot brings the guy back up to his room and says, "So, it's another 3 years. I've been with you 6 years. What is on your mind? What would you like to say?" The guy says, "The food sucks." And it's like, "Well, we can certainly work on that." So they work on all these things to make the food better. And 3 years go by, and finally he gets back. Another 3 years, the head abbot brings him up. He says, "What would you like to say?" And the guy says, "I quit." And the head abbot's like, "Fine, fine, fine. You know, you've done nothing but complain since the day you got here." So there's just some jokes for you. Thanks, guys.
Ski!